Hey everybody, here we are once again doing another movie review, matinee show like we do.
It looks like it's hold on one second.
Oh, what are you doing?
Whoa.
Every single time.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that the damn volume was on.
He never realizes the volume
is on.
It's
on, turn it on. That way I can access the comments.
You can see the comments without having to look at my screen.
We got 3 people waiting on us right there.
Yeah, we got some people watching.
Right, what time is it?
So, hi everybody. It's almost 2:00. I thought it was close enough.
We're a little bit early.
Whatever. Well, because like I said, it takes a while for everything to get moving. So the movie that we're reviewing today, this was one, because remember like on Monday or whenever it was, hey everybody, hey Ravina, hey Melanie. When we were reviewing Mope, which I think we reviewed on Monday, I guess. Yeah. This was the other movie that we saw the trailer for, like when we were scrolling through the thing and we're like, oh, we got to save that one for Wednesday because that one looks really good too. We were just more in the mood to watch Mope on that particular day because this one was more like a horror movie. And this one was actually like, I was expecting it to be good because the trailer was like, pretty cool and looked like, right up my alley, but it was actually like much better than I was expecting.
Yeah, it was an excellent movie.
I liked it a lot.
It's a South African movie.
Yeah.
And, do magic. I guess you could say it's about this guy, this white guy. He inherits his dad's farm out in the middle of nowhere in South Africa. And he's got his wife with him. And his little adopted daughter, which is his niece.
His niece, yeah.
And like on their first day there, this kind of old ragged black dude just shows up kind of out of nowhere saying that he used to work for his dad and wondering if he needed a hand.
Yeah.
He was kind of like a homeless dude, just wandering around out in the bush. And he told him no at first, but the guy was so good with the generator and the equipment. He knew the place so well, he went ahead and invited him to stay in the damn work shed, I guess. Was it a work shed?
Yeah, it was like just like a regular shed or just kind of like on the property.
Like a room.
Yeah, it looked like an actual little cabin.
Yeah, like a cabin. Well, all kinds of weird shit happens. It turns out this dude's a damn sorcerer.
Essentially,
yeah, he's a real good one. And he doesn't have a whole lot of friends because of that. And he got in contact with this demon. I don't know, I don't really want to spoil the whole movie, but
I mean, the thing is, it's kind of hard to talk about without kind of going somewhat into it.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, and I'm pretty sure that this was spoiled by the trailer. Like I said, if we didn't say, the movie's called The Soul Collector, although when it originally came out, thank you very much, Matt.
Hold on, man. Matt's showing us some of them flash bulbs.
There's the flash bulb.
That's a flash bulb.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yeah. Oh, and also I wanted to say about Judd Mouse there. It says, thanks for helping me through my workday. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We're glad that you guys are hanging out with us on this Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is called The Soul Collector, but I believe when it first came out, I don't know a lot about like the production history of this or like, I'm sure it premiered at some festival or something because I think it premiered at a festival like in 2019. And it was originally came out under the title 8, a South African horror story. Yeah. 8 being like the symbol for infinity, which is kind of like a big thing in the movie.
Yeah. Now this movie here, okay, the quality is outstanding. The acting is super good. The score is really good. Acting is fucking through the roof.
I love the guy that plays Lazarus.
Lazarus is the damn sorcerer.
His name's Chimano Sebe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah. I've never seen him in a movie before, but he's fucking great. He should be in more shit.
And what I liked about the movie is that when the movie ended, I thought that was it. No. They did something that movies rarely do. They continue and take it to the next level. You end up in the damn spirit world and shit.
Yeah, it went in a direction I wasn't expecting, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, I think the guy that directed this, his name is Harold Helscher or Holscher, because I think there's an umlaut, which would be Helscher, I think. This might be his first movie, from what I could gather. But the thing that I liked about this was just something really cool. And I think this came across like in the trailer too, which is kind of why we wanted to watch it. Like there's just something really cool like about the vibe of it. Yeah. You don't really see, one, you don't see a lot of South African horror movies. And 2, it just came across as like a really creepy, like fairy tale-esque kind of you know,
but
kind
it
of
wasn't
vibe to it.
But it wasn't dream.
No, not like that. But like in the sense that it's kind of like an old school, like a legend type of story.
Yeah.
You know, it's like black magic and everything. And I thought that was like really cool. And it's a really cool angle. It's like, so you don't see like a lot of, you know, there's a lot of supernatural horror movies and stuff. You know, and this one's structured kind of like that, but you don't see a lot of them like kind of through this cultural prism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only thing that's kind of close to this would have been Pumpkinhead, which is kind of like it's a Southern story.
Which is kind of like the American Southern version of this.
Right. Yeah. But I like this better than Pumpkinhead, even though Pumpkinhead.
I think I like Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead had a cool fucking monster, but this is kind of like an African version of Pumpkinhead. There is a monster in it.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking really spoil it. And it's weird how it's shown and what it is.
Like I said, some of it's in the trailer, so I don't know. Like, I'm kind of scared to go too much because, like I said, it sucks because it's like I really kind of want to talk about it, but it's like I don't want to.
He's got this thing with him that he has to feed, and he feeds it. He feeds it people's souls. And
hence the soul collector.
Yeah, he draws souls out of people's mouths and gives it to this thing to keep alive, and it's a fucking trip.
Yeah, it's like he's pretty much established the cool thing about his character. Because like I said, the setup of it just says somewhere in South Africa in 1977, which was still apartheid era, was it not? So there's like a little undercurrent of that going on as well.
I think, yeah.
Because I think it was up until the 80s. I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure that was still going on. I'm in my memory, so I'm pretty sure it was at least up until the 80s, if not later. So there's a little bit of that. It's not like super heavy-handed or anything. It was just kind of like a background sort of thing. So you get like this, like we said, this white family. The dad had this farm and he dies at the beginning. Now, like I said, at the beginning, you know that the main character, like this, he's kind of the villain, but kind of not, which is kind of like really fascinating about his character. Because pretty much the first scene of the movie, they show him sitting in the room with the dad, and it seems like he's doing something bad or that he did something bad to the guy. So you know that is this the villain, but he doesn't seem like a villain because he seems like a really nice man. So it's kind of like this conflicted thing where you're just like, what is this guy's end game? Like, what is he doing? Is he just pretending to be nice or whatever? So the old guy dies, and then you cut to this family who, like I said, it's a man and a woman who are married, and then they have their niece, Mary, who I guess her parents died. Do they say how the parents died? I assume it was in some kind of an accident.
Yeah, they showed it. They burned up, didn't they?
No, that was Lazarus's.
That was Lazarus's son. That's right.
I don't know. I don't remember if they said like how Mary's parents died or not. I just, like I said, I assume it was an accident because apparently they both died at once. But I'd have to like go back and like.
There was that whole moth angle, the two moths, and I don't know.
Well, the moths represented souls.
Yeah, I know that, but he had them. Or did he just tell her that he had?
See, I don't know. I don't know if those actually were her parents' souls or if he was just telling her that.
Yeah, it was weird.
I mean, because I don't know where her parents were when they died. I don't know if they lived there or, you know, or what the deal was with that. I mean, they could have lived there and he could have. He could have gotten their souls, sure.
Right. You would think that he would have fed the souls to the monster, though.
That's true. But yeah, so this little girl comes there. And it was interesting because I think at first, like, I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention at the very beginning or wasn't like, couldn't hear some of the dialogue, but we didn't know for a time, like the man and woman, because the little girl called the woman auntie. So, but then you were saying, wait, is this couple married because they don't seem like
they seem like a couple.
But then the thing is, like, as the story went on, they are, but as the story went on, there's a reason for that. It's just, I guess, because I think there was a thing about him like having a business and it going bankrupt and then her being infertile and that being like tension. So, and then them having to like adopt the niece and her being pissed off about it because like, look, it's not my kid and all that. And she kind of seemed like she resented having to raise someone else's kid. So I think that's why there was like this disconnect between the two of them. It wasn't just like that they, you know, didn't have any chemistry. It was just that they were like, they had a troubled marriage for all those reasons. You know what I mean?
What I liked about this movie, I think what made it different is that it went through a whole story arc and it ended. Had this been an American movie, it just would have ended right there. This one kept going.
Yeah.
And there was like another story on the back of it. It wasn't really a twist. It was just a continuation. It didn't have to continue like that. They could have just ended it, but they chose not to. You know what I mean?
Well,
the fire scene and what happened to Lazarus, they would have just ended it. That would have been the end if it was an American movie.
Right.
This thing continued on another 15 minutes.
And I liked that. I liked that about it. Yeah. And like I said, you know,
because that wasn't the end.
It being called originally, it being called 8, and like I said, 8 being the symbol for you know, for infinity, and a lot of the things that Lazarus said and that other characters said about things being like a continuous cycle, that very much does bear up on the ending. So the ending, when you think about all the stuff that he said like earlier, like very early in the film about life and death, and you know, everything being like continued and everything, it really did make more sense the way that it ended, even though you could argue, well, that the ending was like a sad ending or a bad ending. You know what I mean? Because, but that it made more sense, like with how the story was going.
Right. But we're reviewing a movie that people haven't seen and trying not to spoil it. It's kind of rough at that point.
I know, that's what I mean.
I do recommend the movie. We saw it on Xbox.
Yeah, so
Soul Collector.
I think it only just, even though, like I said, I'm pretty sure it premiered at somewhere like last year, but I think it only just came to VOD like this month.
Yeah, it wasn't that expensive. I think it was in the past couple days.
Yeah, it might have been because we saw the trailer on Monday, and I didn't remember seeing it.
I think it was
prior to that.
I think it was $6.99 in HD, and I think you could get it in SD for $1 less.
That's usually the way they go, because that's what when they start out, they always want $20 for them. But then like a few weeks later, it goes down to $6.99.
They don't always though.
Not It depends on what movie.
Depends on what it is. Yeah.
Some movies that are like more indie will come out at $6.99, and then like they'll go to $3.99. But yeah, there's
because a Mope appeared at $3.99.
Which is weird because that was a fucking great movie.
Great movie, yeah.
And it got like a lot of buzz when it came out. Yeah. So I don't like at the festival.
Well, it was a lower budget movie. You're not talking about a Marvel fucking, superhero movie. It was fucking billions of dollars.
Yeah. I kind of hope that one does well. But yeah, this one, it's not like a real jump scary kind of movie. It's not like, it was just like a real like old school, like creepy, legend kind of thing where it's just kind of like, folklore sort of made into this like creepy, it's especially like the thing with him and the bag and the, you know what I mean? Like all that imagery was like super creepy.
It was African.
Yeah.
It had a good African flavor to the monster. I'd probably put it up there with, like Serpent and the Rainbow, something like that.
It reminded me a little bit of that at times.
Which is, Haiti.
About the whole keeping souls in jars and like doing things with souls and like magic, sucking. Man. Yeah, it's like, so it had that type of aspect to it as well. And I also really liked that the main, I guess what you could call the villain of the piece, who was Lazarus, he was a villain in the sense that he was doing terrible things, but he was also sympathetic and like you could understand, like once you learned his backstory, you could understand like why he was doing the things that he was doing. It
was kind of like the same kind of thing that, kind of the same dynamic with like a good vampire story where the vampire is really just kind of cursed more than anything else.
Yeah. And it's like, they didn't ask for that.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I mean, you could argue in this one, like Lazarus did kind of ask for it, but he was desperate. Yeah, he was desperate. And I don't think he understood maybe the extent of like what it would entail. You know what I mean? And then like and I don't really know. I don't think they said how long he'd been doing that. I'm assuming it wasn't that long because I mean, when they showed, his backstory, like what happened, like to get him into that situation.
Yeah.
He didn't look that different. So I was assuming that it wasn't that long ago. And like all the people from the village and everything looked pretty similar.
Yeah. They're talking about Pumpkinhead. I'd probably put it up there with Pumpkinhead. Like imagine if Pumpkinhead was an African
based on like African folklore and was set in the 1970s.
Like
but it's like this was just
Pumpkinhead was probably Pumpkinhead was set in the 80s, But there isn't a big difference.
Yeah, not really.
And they were, in Pumpkinhead, they were out in the middle of nowhere. Let's think it was Louisiana, wasn't it?
I think it was Louisiana.
And it didn't matter.
I haven't seen it for a while, but yeah.
You got her Oklahoma or something, Arkansas.
I want to say it was Louisiana, but I'm not really sure.
And, it didn't matter what year it was where they were.
That's true.
It's just wooden shacks and old trucks,
That's true.
I don't even think they had electricity.
Yeah, I'd have to like look. I love the idea, and I feel like they don't make enough horror movies with these kind of like based kind of around this folklore about, going to like a witch or a witch doctor in this case, a sangoma as they would call it, and like either summoning a demon or summoning some kind of like spirit that'll come and like take revenge for you and shit like that. So you know what I mean? I know there's a kind of a lot like that, but not as many as there probably should be, because I like folkloric based horror movies. So I think that's why I dug this one so much, because it was just kind of like everything about this was just like really cool. And I knew I was going to like it like in the first scene, because the first scene was like really good. The cinematography is gorgeous. The score is awesome. I really liked the score a lot. I mean, both of us like commented on it. Like
it was a top-notch flick. It didn't have a low budget feel or anything.
I mean, acting was great. I loved the interaction between Lazarus's character and the little girl, who's played by, her name is Kate Luna, I think.
Yeah.
The two of their interactions was great. And like I said, that's what was so cool about this story, is that even though he was like the bad guy, he didn't seem like a bad guy. Like he seemed like a really sweet dude. And then like the more you learned about it, it's like it was this really complex character and a really complex relationship that he developed with this little kid.
Yeah, you can check the trailer. There's a trailer on Xbox. There's probably one on YouTube also.
Yeah, because like I said,
we saw the trailer and we were like, okay, yeah, it looks good.
Like, yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah. Well, the movie's even cooler than the trailer. So if you like the trailer, you'd like the movie.
It's funny because I was watching another review of it today. There's not a huge amount of reviews of this movie, because it hasn't been out on VOD that long. But one I saw, the guy was like, he saw the trailer like a while back and it didn't really make much of an impression. But then like when he watched the movie, he was like, oh man, the movie was like so much better than the trailer like led me to believe. Or it's like, you know what I mean? Because the trailer hadn't really like grabbed him. But this, I think that the trailer did a good job of like giving you the vibe of what the movie was going to be like. Cause as soon as we saw the trailer, it was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. We should see that. And it definitely does. I mean, the movie is like way better than the trailer made it seem, but I thought the trailer was actually pretty cool. It made me want to see it.
Yeah.
And like I said, the imagery, I just love the imagery of like him and the bag and, just this whole creepy. And I love the shit. Like I said, I don't want to like ruin the end, but the spirit world shit at the end, I love that they added that, because I was not expecting shit to go in that direction. I wasn't expecting the movie to end the way it ended. It's funny because a lot of people in the comments section of that one were just like, they wanted the ending explained. So
you had to explain that?
That's what I mean. It's like, well, I can see how if you weren't really like paying it, because you kind of had to pay attention, because a lot of the shit that happened related back to stuff that the characters had said earlier.
It seemed like pretty much everybody got what they wanted. The little girl kind of. Yeah.
Although that's the thing, though, it's like, did the little girl get what she wanted?
I don't know,
because
we're leaving them swimming. There's no sense in going because you just have to watch the movie to know.
Yeah, that's true. But yes, if you like kind of old fashioned, like folkloric type of horror, it's not like, super jump scary. It's not like action packed or anything like that. It's kind of like, it's more like a supernatural drama, like with horror elements. So, but if that sounds like something you would like I said, it's a beautiful looking movie. The sound design is really cool. The characters are really cool. Like the acting is really, really good in it, and all this other kind of stuff. I want to say too that one of the things too we were commenting on was that the wife, who was the character of the wife, whose name was Ciarra in the movie, I can't remember the actress's name, but she was kind of like an interesting character because she's come across as like this bitter, resentful woman. I mean, understandably so, I guess. You can see where she's coming from. But we were also kind of laughing because they did that whole trope where she really did not want Lazarus there, like working at the farm. Yeah. And the husband was just totally like dismissing like every single one of her concerns, even though in a lot of ways
she saw the demon.
she was right.
And she saw the demon too.
Yeah,
he didn't believe her.
And then he was just
right,
like, and so we were making the joke like we always make when we watch like a haunting and stuff. It's like, you're just a woman. You don't.
Women don't know what.
We don't know how reality works. Yeah. Our perceptions are always incorrect.
Women don't know when someone's choking them in the damn bathtub. They don't know. Right? Women don't know when they see a monster.
You're just imagining. Just be on your period or something.
Bitches be crazy.
It's just so funny that that's a fucking trope because it's like every time it comes in a movie, I'm just kind of
Jenny told me something strangled her in the damn bathtub. I'm like, where? I've been trying to figure it out.
Because you
saw a monster? Because where?
It's like because I wouldn't make something like that up.
Yeah.
I
think most guys, of course, know their girlfriends.
I would hope so.
You'd have to have a history of crazy. Of seeing shit.
Which I don't.
Yeah, right. So
now I will say that when we were having the poltergeist activity at the house.
Yeah.
However long ago it was, a year or two ago. And when I said that I woke up in the middle of the night and heard the doorbell. Yeah. Now, you initially did not believe me.
Yeah.
Although I told you I would have thought it was a dream too if I didn't hear it again.
Right.
Like a second time.
I thought you had maybe dreamt it.
Well, that's what I thought. Like, I didn't think I had because I was pretty sure I was awake. So I was just laying there. I'm like, okay, now, did I really just hear the doorbell at 3:30 in the morning or 4 in the morning or whatever it was? Or was I just dreaming it? So then I'm laying there and then I know I was awake and then I heard it again. That's when I woke up.
And it really hadn't kicked off in that episode yet. The damn little horse statues didn't fly off the fucking top.
That's true.
And some of that other stuff hadn't happened yet. So it was kind of like when it takes months for me to ramp it up to get it rolling. And then once it really started rolling, when it threw the damn TV remote in front of everybody, that was it.
Well, you couldn't really deny it then.
Couldn't deny it then, but that was it.
Because everybody saw it.
It didn't come back though. It stopped.
Yeah, it hasn't. We haven't had anything happen. I think the last thing that happened was like the TV came on, and that was like
the TV hasn't been coming on.
That was a long time ago. That was probably
and that was 2 different TVs.
It was so it wasn't like just one TV. It was several. But the one that was on a haunting, or maybe it was Paranormal Witness, I can't remember. The one that pissed me off the most, and I think I even wrote about this on my blog, was there was one where the woman said that she heard someone walking around up in the attic. She didn't say it was a ghost. She didn't think it was a ghost. She thought it was a person, as you would. Oh. She calls the husband at work and says, "Hey, I hear somebody walking around up in the attic." And then he told her she was just imagining it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't say it was a ghost. I said I heard footsteps. I was like, there's a motherfucker up there. Yeah. I'm not going up there. Fuck that. Yeah. I told you. I was like, if I called you and told you I hear somebody walking around in the attic, you would come right home because there's probably a person up there.
You know what's funny? When I first saw that happening when I was a kid and was with Red and Lois, it had a lot more impact on you when you were younger.
Yeah.
And especially when there was more of it going on. When I was older, seeing it again after so many years, it wasn't quite as impressive as it was. I mean, it did more impressive stuff back then, but I was just like, oh, yeah, okay.
There it goes again.
There it is. Like, I didn't even get fucking scared, you know what I mean? It didn't even upset me. I was just like, yeah, it's back.
Well, yeah, weird. But because at this point, like, you knew probably where it was coming
although from. It freaked out Jen and Dimitri.
Well, yeah.
I could see they hadn't seen it. Jen went fucking pale.
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
I know their eyes were like this big, like over there on the couch when they saw that shit.
Yeah, it was a trip.
Somebody recommended another movie called Dust Devil, which is another South African movie. I've heard of that. I don't think I've seen it, but I probably should see that as well. But yeah, like I said, not a lot of South African horror movies out there, but this one was actually a really good one. And like I said, I'm kind of hoping that we see this main actor, like in some other shit because he's fucking great in this.
Yeah.
I mean, he for me, it's like, it was a cool movie, anyway, but he just like made the whole movie. Like his character was so fucking cool.
He would have made a really good chief of police in a remake of fucking that Serpent and the Rainbow. They remade that. He could play.
Oh, I'm sure they'll get around to it.
They shouldn't remake any of those fucking movies. The remakes, they need to stop that shit.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Like I said, what are you going to do? Can't stop them. As long, I mean, the thing about it,
they fuck up.
Well, the thing about it is that, I mean, they wouldn't make them if people didn't go see them, and if they didn't make money. So it's like, if you don't want them to make them, then don't go see them.
I think that was another era, though. I don't think Hollywood is going to fucking survive this.
Honestly, the thing about horror movies too is that I think the remake train that kind of cycled through the 90s and the early 2000s, and then I think everyone just kind of got sick of it.
Yeah.
So yes, you still see remakes nowadays, but not as many, because there was a time in like the 90s and the early 2000s where they were just like everything was a fucking remake.
Yeah.
Or like a sequel to like an old movie or something like that. So I do feel like in the last 5-10 years we've seen a lot more original horror movies. You know what I mean? So I think that's like a positive sign.
If you ask me, these small movies that we're seeing, these little movies, are better than the big Hollywood ones.
Well, yeah, like and like we said, because it's a smaller crew. It's usually like one or two, like, or a small group of people's vision, you know. And to make an independent movie, you really have to like want to make an independent movie, because it's like, you know, you don't have billions of dollars at your disposal. You don't have like all this, you know, that it's not going to get like massive distribution. It's not going to get this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, it's basically going to be word of mouth. So you got to kind of want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so in a way, like I said, not all of them are good. You know, there's some that are kind of crappy, but it's like the ones that we've seen lately, like I've seen some like pretty good fucking horror movies, better than ones we saw in the theater. I mean, look at the kind of ones we saw in the theater, like The Turning and stuff like that, which was kind of terrible. Which
I don't even remember that one. Which one was that?
It was the one that was based on Turn of the Screw. You know what? It's like, I would have liked that movie a lot better if they hadn't ended it the way they ended it. Like, then it would have just been like a decent movie. But I mean, even stuff like, you know, Curse of La Llorona and stuff like that, which was, it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't. That
was a little more memorable than The Turning, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was just real. I just feel like in the wake of, you know, whenever The Conjuring came out, like 2006 or 2008 or whatever it was, I feel like that became like a formula, like the James Wan formula. And it's like those movies, they're perfectly watchable, but I don't even remember like which ones I've seen.
18 months of fucking AMC, there very few of those movies are memorable to me.
Yeah, I mean, we did see some good ones, and they did place like some indie ones that were good, but most of them were just like okay.
Yeah,
like they
just like, weren't really memorable.
They were fun when you watch them, but like a few months later, I couldn't even remember like if I'd seen them or not. You know, which, like I said, what are you gonna do?
I remembered Venom.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked that.
Sonic, I remembered that one.
That might have been the last one we saw before the theaters closed.
Yeah,
was it?
I don't know. I think we saw some other shit.
Maybe we saw one more after that. I remember that being like among the last ones.
I barely remember the Star Wars movies now.
Yeah, well,
I remember seeing them.
I remember them.
I don't remember much about them.
It's like I tend to remember. I don't know. I guess I remember the horror movies better just because I'm into those.
I don't remember any of the damn superhero movies, Marvel superhero movies. I couldn't tell you what
I remember parts of Endgame.
I can remember parts of fucking Aquaman. I can remember pretty much everything of Shazam.
Well, we saw Shazam twice, didn't we?
Yeah, I liked Shazam.
I did too. Yeah, that was funny.
I can remember The Lighthouse.
Yes, I loved that because that was fucking bizarre. That's why. Yeah. But like I said, if you're gonna make something, make it fucking weird, man. People will remember it more than if you just make some like knockoff like horror movie that's just kind of like fun while you watch it, but then like a week later you're like, did we see that? I don't even remember.
What people are talking about.
Somebody said, somebody was talking about sometime in the 80s, the big bands had that boycott. Yeah, because I remember that Ain't Gonna Play Sun City that came, when did that come out? 85, 86, something like that. That's why I was remembered. I said, so 1977 South Africa, that was still very much apartheid era. They don't really go, like I said, they don't really go into it a lot in the thing, but there is, I guess there's like that underlying like way in the background, like that dynamic between, the white family and the black villagers and that kind of thing. But like I said, it's not real in the forefront. It's mostly just about.
It's more about him that demon
and his demon. I think the demon's name is Uthuli. Was that what he called it?
I think it was
Uthuli or something like that. Yeah, it was like some demon that
he thought the villagers were mad at him because you know what I mean. Him being white, he thought that they thought he was trying to take over the damn country.
Yeah,
but that's not why the villagers were mad at him. They were mad at him because they were associating him with the damn demon. Because he didn't know about the demon. You'll see. You'll see.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's because that's why Lazarus was such a complicated character, because he was speaking, obviously the white dude couldn't really speak a lot of, I think it's Xhosa or whatever that language is called.
I don't know what language it is. Some kind of African language.
But he could speak a little bit of it, but he couldn't speak enough of it to know like exactly what all they were saying. So Lazarus and the villagers are like fighting, and Lazarus tells the white guy, "Oh, well, I don't know why they're mad. It was just something to do with your dad or something like that." But that's
trying to take over.
But that's not what they were mad
that's
about.
Not what it was about. They were like, "Be gone, demon," shit like that.
But it's like, he couldn't really like say the guy that, because he wanted to like hang around the house for his own reasons. But this is actually a pretty cool fucking movie. Like I said, if you really like folklore horror, and things of that nature, I think you'll really dig it. So, it's just really creepy imagery, not like super, super scary. It's more like a drama, but it does have like horror elements and kind of like a demonic kind of thing going on. But check it out. I'm sure you can probably rent it on YouTube. We rent it on Xbox, like I said. So
Mango Badger says, good thing I don't remember the Star Wars movies. Yeah, it's good. They're asking if we're gonna watch the new Unsolved Mysteries. What platform is that on?
Oh, you know what? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just realized that that Tubi had like almost all of the old Unsolved Mysteries, because I was excited about that. Did you guys know? I just found on Tubi a whole other Gordon Ramsay series that I didn't even fucking know about. 3 seasons of the shit.
Yeah.
When does the guy ever sleep? He has like 40 million shows.
Yeah, they're gonna have to have a fucking Gordon Ramsay channel.
They probably already do, like on Pluto TV or something. We're just all just good. I mean, holy fucking shit! Like he just started that new show on Nat Geo, Uncharted, which we've been watching. We watched the Louisiana one last night because we DVR'd it.
Yeah.
But I was on Tubi and I just happened to see, because I watched Old Kitchen Nightmares on there, and so they recommended to me. He had a show called, what is it called? 24 Hours to Hell and Back or something like that. It's basically like Kitchen Nightmares, but speeded up. Like instead of him being at the restaurant for a week, he only has 24 hours to like get their shit together. Yeah. And he has like a big fucking semi with a whole kitchen in there and all this other kind of crap. And so there's 3 seasons of this show, and I never even heard of it. I don't understand like how this guy has time to make all these fucking shows.
It's still not as good as the damn British ones, though.
Honestly, that's the gold standard.
Yeah.
Because I liked the British Kitchen Nightmares better because, one, they were longer because they don't have as many ad breaks.
Weirder
in the UK.
people.
Weirder people. Yeah, like eccentric kind of people.
Yeah.
Also, the guy with the plates. I just can't.
Mr. Plate.
We've watched that one
Real
like
Gravy.
6 times.
Campaign for Real Gravy.
That guy's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
But also because Gordon came across as much more chill and like much more understanding. They go a lot more into you know what I mean. The American one is good, but it's mostly
too fast paced.
It's too quick edited. It's just like they just want everybody yelling at each
real
other.
Superficial.
Stuff, which to an extent is funny because I enjoy watching Gordon yell at people, but especially people that are being assholes.
The British ones get into who the damn restaurants owners are and how fucked
it's
up
much
they
more
are.
like in depth, and like I said, they're less concerned with like everyone screeching at each other. But this is why like a lot of people that like cooking shows, that's why like the Great British Bake Off shows and stuff like that has such like a huge American fan base. It's just because it's so civilized. It's like, you know what I mean? These people are competing, but it's like they're not bitchy, they're not assholes, they're not like, they're just trying to bake the best thing they can bake, and it's just like, it's just so wholesome. And I can see why people are way into that, because it's very relaxing. Watching like shows where everyone's just screaming at each other, it's just like really stressful.
Melissa's saying that Unsolved Mysteries will be on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
No, what else is going to be on Netflix is that the new seasons of Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai.
I just found out. I don't know when the 3rd season, but I just found out like from Austin Burke's channel, his movie review channel, which is really good if you haven't heard of it. He just said that there was an article, Netflix got the rights to the first 2 seasons, and they're going to be premiering the 3rd season. Because I think what YouTube is doing, they want to do more, because they have YouTube Red or YouTube Premium or whatever it is. They want to get more into like doing more reality based series rather than scripted fictional series. So the popular series that YouTube had, which Cobra Kai was one of the most popular, they're kind of selling those to other platforms just because they want to go more into like doing more reality TV type series rather than like.
Speaking of kung fu, did any of you guys see Art of Self-Defense? Like
he keeps telling everybody to see that.
Well, some people said they're going to see it, but then never get around to seeing it. But that's a good one too. Cobra Kai and Art of Self-Defense, they're both pretty good.
I really, really liked Cobra Kai. I didn't expect to because it's like, I like everybody else that grew up in the 80s. I liked the first Karate Kid movie. It wasn't my favorite, but I can understand like the nostalgia of it and everything. It's kind of cheesy, but the show is really, really good. Like I got way more into it than I expected to. And I love that they got like all the original actors back.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like a continuation and they left it on a hell of a fucking cliffhanger at the end of season 2. So
I got to see it again.
I'm kind of like, so I don't know when Netflix is going to transfer the first and second series over. I'm assuming that they're going to maybe put it all up at once, or maybe they'll put 1 and 2 up like right before the third one goes up. Cause I heard they were working on the third season and I'm sure it was probably done because I'm pretty sure they were going to premiere it sometime this year. So maybe it'll be in a couple of months. That'd be cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like spacing out.
Yeah. Well,
you done talking for
I'm done talking.
Yeah. We better sit because I hear the yard
lawnmower and
people.
Stuff. We covered what we had to cover.
Yeah. So definitely check this movie out. Like I said, I don't know every platform I've seen. It's under the Soul Collector, but it's also called 8, a South African horror story. So if that sounds like something you'd be into, then check it out. And we will probably do another live stream. We'll either live stream the episode, we haven't decided yet, in which case we might do it Friday night or Saturday night, or if we don't, then we'll do another live stream on Saturday, probably a movie review or a sidetracks. So we'll see you guys again then.